Welcome back to Capital Catch-Up, your insider guide to the halls of Congress. I'm Victor.
And I'm Lenny. It has been a packed week in Washington, arguably one of the busiest starts to a session we've seen in 2026. We are looking at significant movements on police reform, consumer finance, and national security, alongside a flurry of committee oversight hearings.
That's right, Lenny. We have combed through Volume 172 of the Congressional Record from January 26th through the 30th, and the docket is heavy. Let's dive straight into the legislation that could reshape the legal landscape for law enforcement. We're talking about House Resolution 7046, the Qualified Immunity Abolition Act of 2026.
This is a major one, Victor. For our listeners who might hear qualified immunity and gloss over it, this is the legal doctrine that shields government officials, including police officers, from being held personally liable for constitutional violations, like excessive force, unless the violation was of a clearly established law.
Exactly. And this builds on efforts we saw stall back in 2020 and 2021 following the George Floyd protests. House Resolution 7046 aims to strip that defense entirely. If passed, this would mean that everyday Americans could more easily sue for civil rights violations. The debate here is intense. Supporters say it's about accountability. Opponents argue it will make officers hesitant to do their jobs for fear of frivolous lawsuits.
Speaking of liability and protection, there is another bill hitting the floor that affects nearly every transaction Americans make. House Resolution 7035, the Credit Card Competition Act of 2026.
Ah, the battle over swipe fees.
Precisely. Right now, when you tap your card at a coffee shop, the merchant pays a fee, usually set by the two dominant networks. House Resolution 7035 aims to break up that duopoly by requiring big banks to allow transactions to be processed over different, potentially cheaper networks.
The impact here for the consumer is theoretically lower prices as merchants save on those fees. But the banking lobby argues it could compromise security or rewards programs. It's a classic Main Street versus Wall Street showdown.
Let's pivot to national security and infrastructure. We saw the introduction of House Resolution 4090, the Critical Mineral Dominance Act, and House Resolution 7272, the Pipeline Cybersecurity Preparedness Act. Victor, you've been tracking the energy sector closely. What's the play here?
Well, House Resolution 4090 is a direct response to geopolitical tensions, specifically concerning China's hold on the supply chain for batteries and electronics. This bill is about expediting mining and processing on U.S. soil. It's the first time since the previous administration's executive orders that we've seen a legislative push this aggressive to secure those supply lines.
And the Pipeline Cybersecurity Act, House Resolution 7272, seems to be closing the loopholes exposed by the Colonial Pipeline hack a few years back.
Exactly. It mandates stricter readiness standards. If we want to keep gas prices stable and homes heated, the digital locks on those pipelines need to be unbreakable. Speaking of safety at home, there are two other bills catching my eye. House Resolution 7050, the Homeopathic Drug Product Safety, Quality, and Transparency Act, and the Safe Kids Act, which appeared as both House Resolution 7040 and Senate Bill 3101.
The Homeopathic Safety Act is interesting. Historically, homeopathic products have existed in a regulatory gray area compared to FDA-approved drugs. House Resolution 7050 looks to tighten labeling and safety standards so consumers know exactly what they are buying. As for the Safe Kids Act, seeing it filed in both chambers simultaneously, House and Senate, usually signals strong bipartisan momentum. This likely addresses online safety and data privacy for minors, a massive topic for parents right now.
Absolutely. Now, Lenny, while legislation is being filed, the committees are where the real fireworks are happening this week. We have a schedule packed with oversight.
The most poignant one for me is the oversight hearing titled Fix Our Forests, the Need for Urgent Action 1 year after the LA wildfires. It is scheduled for February 3rd. This isn't just about trees. It's about the federal response to disasters that displaced thousands.
And on the same day, the Veterans Affairs Committee is holding a massive legislative hearing covering over a dozen bills. They are looking at House Resolution 982, the Warriors to Workforce Act, and House Resolution 4105, the Vet Act of 2025.
That docket is focused heavily on suicide prevention and the transition to civilian life. There is also specific language regarding housing loans and mental health for homeless veterans. It's a comprehensive attempt to fix the cracks in the VAS system that veterans have been falling through for decades.
Moving to the financial sector, the House Financial Services Committee is holding a hearing titled A New Day at the SEC, Restoring Accountability, Due Process, and Public Confidence.
Restoring accountability. That title alone tells you it's going to be a grilling. The majority party is clearly unhappy with the current regulatory approach at the Securities and Exchange Commission. Expect questions on crypto regulation and market structure.
We also have the Committee on Oversight and Accountability marking up a slew of bills on February 4th, including House Resolution 2985, the Modernizing Government Technology Reform Act. For listeners who don't know, a markup is when a committee debates, amends, and rewrites proposed legislation before sending it to the floor. They're also looking at House Resolution 7265, the Vote by Mail Tracking Act,
which is crucial for election integrity transparency. On the nominations front, it's been relatively quiet, but we did see the nomination of David Clay Fulkus to be a United States District Judge for the Western District of Arkansas, replacing Judge Paul Kinloch Holmes III, who retired.
These judicial appointments are lifetime positions, so they shape federal law for generations. We also saw Amanda Wood-Lehau reappointed to the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission.
Before we wrap up, we should mention a moment of unity amidst the policy battles. Both chambers introduced resolutions, House Resolution 102, House Resolution 74, and Senate Resolution 45, celebrating National Catholic Schools Week.
And House Resolution 7168, the Seton Hall Fire Victims Remembrance Act of 2026. It's a solemn reminder of the importance of campus safety standards, commemorating a tragedy that changed fire codes across the nation.
So, what should our listeners watch for in the coming days?
Keep an eye on the Fix Our Forests hearing. With wildfire season becoming a year-round threat, the testimony there could drive emergency funding bills later this spring.
And watch the momentum on the Qualified Immunity Abolition Act. If that moves out of committee, we are looking at widespread national protests and counter-protests.
We will be here to break it all down. That's it for this week's Capitol Catch-Up.
Thanks for listening. Stay engaged.